Hey guys, on this week of Goofs, Gimmicks, and Challenges, we're taking a more serious tone to go with episode 9's more serious tone. So this week we're going to be looking over the story that I wrote for that episode, and then we had the people interact with, and if you haven't seen how they answered it, if you want to see how they did, go check it out. It was a great episode, really tackling some tough topics. So today we're going to go through it, and you, as the viewer, will be able to select the actions you want by going to certain timestamps. So, let's get started. You wake up and step out of bed. Grabbing your coat and standard work attire, you head downstairs for a quick brew of coffee, the McNabb family special, as you call it, a pastry, and then you're out the door. As you drive towards work, your phone rings. It's your boss. You answer it, or you ignore it, and this is where you'll choose. So if you choose answer, this is your story. You pick up the phone and answer the call. Your boss tells you that he needs you on the work site instead of at the office. You take a U-turn and head to meet him. As you drive towards town, you see smoke rising, so you speed up, hoping everything is all right. Now, if you chose ignore, this is your story. You ignore the call and let the phone ring. Then it hits you. You were supposed to drop off a package to a coworker who has a post in town. You take a U-turn and head to meet him, knowing your boss will be mad for your late arrival. As you drive towards town, you see smoke rising, so you speed up, hoping everything is all right. Now with those two decisions out of the way, we go back to the common story area. So, for both options, you pull up beside your coworker's car and step out to see the city around you on edge. The protesters have gathered once again to peacefully call for the rights of their fellow Americans. Something you will be out there doing, if not for today, being a work day. So far, the rioters have been far and few, but all it takes is a simple misstep to make the peaceful scene turn into a dangerous pandemonium. Suddenly, the shop down the street from you bursts into flames. You turn to your coworker, lock eyes, and open your car doors, and grab your gun or stun gun. Another choice here you will have to make. If you choose gun, this is your story. You pick up the gun and run towards the chaos in front of you. Your heart is pumping faster and faster, and the singe of fear grips your heart. You hope that you don't have to use the cold metal weapon locked into your holster. You hope nothing goes wrong, but you know something will. And if you chose to use the stun gun, this is your story. You pick up the stun gun, running towards the chaos in front of you. Your heart is pumping faster and faster, and the singe of fear grips your heart. You hope that you don't have to stun anyone. You hope nothing goes wrong, but you know something will. So this is another common story area, no matter what you chose. Pushing your way through the crowd, your attempt to motion people to safety away from the flames is to no avail. As you work your way through the crowd, harsh glares hits out of nowhere and curses rain down on you. In your mind, only two thoughts are racing. Keep these people alive and find the culprit. Finally, you reach the shop. Your partner is clearing a path big enough for the fire trucks to get through, leaving you to find the culprit. But amongst this giant crowd, where could one even start? Then, along the ground, you see a trail of liquid. Stooping down to smell it, you smell it. Gasoline. You turn back to the crowd and work your way once again through it, trying to follow this liquid path. Abruptly, it cuts out of the crowd and down a lone street where no one appears to be. Then, out of the corner of your eye, you notice someone, and they break out into a sprint. With freedom to move, you break out into a jog right after them, hoping it isn't too late to catch them. You give chase, and soon you're right on the heels of the runner. He leads you through alley upon alley until you arrive back where you started. The crowd. You rush in after them and somehow manage to grab hold of their hoodie. Jerked back, they halt mid-stride. Turning to face you, they smile, a knowing smile, and they scream, "Help! I'm being attacked!" The crowd around you surges to the supposed cry of help, not knowing that they aid the one who almost burned and hurt them all. Fists fly from the crowd, feet kick your body. You're on the ground bleeding. Help is nowhere near, nor could they get to you if they wanted to. You're overwhelmed by the many bodies entangled, and your vision is blurred from the hits. You struggle to your feet, trying to get out of the danger. A figure near you seems to turn. Though your sight is still returning, you recognize the color as matching that of the arsonist's jacket. They appear to leap towards you, and you glimpse a shiny object pulled from the depths of their coat. Your reflexes take over. Your hand reaches down to your side and pulls. Now, depending on what you chose, this will be the gun or the stun gun. So keep that in mind as we continue the story. You fire. The figure drops. The crowd steps back. Your vision returns long enough for you to realize that below you is not the arsonist, but a young teen wearing the same outfit as the culprit. A shiny silver necklace lays beside them. As your wounds get the best of you, you realize that the face of the teen looks familiar. You hit the cement hard. The world goes black. So with that, we're going to move on to the second story that is connected to this. Another choose your own adventure. You wake up and hop out of bed. You head downstairs for a quick breakfast and then you're out the door. As you drive towards town, your phone pings. It's a message from your friend. Do you take a look at it or do you ignore it? If you choose to take a look at it, this is your story. You pick up the phone and check your message. Your friend James, who you are meeting at a little shop down on Main Street, tells you he will be a few minutes late. You look up to see a car hitting the brakes and slam yours. Thankfully, you didn't hit. Mom always said to watch your habit of texting while driving. It's dangerous. You pull up to the shop a few minutes later and grab a coffee. Now, if you chose to ignore the text, this is your story. You ignore the message and keep driving. Whatever it is can wait till you get there. Mom always said to watch your habit of texting while driving, and what better time to start than now. The car in front of you hits their brake a little sharply to make a turn. You change lanes and pass them. You pull up to the shop a few minutes later and grab a coffee. Now, this is the common area for whatever choice you took. Waiting outside the cafe, you decide to stand rather than grab a seat, eager to get out there the moment your friend arrives with the signs. Maybe today someone will notice. Maybe today something will change, even if he may not be the person who causes the change. At least he knows he's a part of something his fellow Americans will live for. Maybe he'll be a part of the change. You notice the TV above the counter is continuing their 24/7 run of the protest, calling most of the protesters dangerous and self-destructive to America as a whole. Don't they get that America as a whole is already broken? Don't they get that the freedom the country stands for is a lie if not everyone is truly free? Yes, the true rioters are causing problems, but they shouldn't cause us, the good people, to be thrown in with them. Behind you, you hear the door to the shop open. Do you turn, or do you continue to watch the TV? If you choose to turn, this is your story. Hearing the door open, you turn in hopes that it's James walking through with the sign. It's not. Instead, some guy with a hoodie waltzes in like he owns the place. You turn back to the TV when you notice something in their pocket. A wine bottle. Strange. Not illegal, but strange. Suddenly, the man whips out the bottle and lights it. You cry out to warn everyone as he lights it, and he throws it behind the counter. If you chose to ignore, this is your story. You ignore the door and continue to watch the TV, saddened by the false allegations being thrown at your fellow protesters. MLK was, and still is, held with praise. Why couldn't they be too? Maybe someday a history book would record what you did. One can hope. Then the smell of alcohol hits your nose. Suddenly, time seems to go slow, as over your head a Molotov is thrown. Fire spreads rapidly, and you grab the person next to you, barely pulling them out in time before the whole shop burst into flames. Now, this is the common section between both answers. Those behind the counter had to run the opposite way from the doors. Here's to hoping there was a back exit door. You turn to glimpse a guy running away from the scene. You turn to follow, but are cut off by an officer running full force after them into the crowd. You hope he catches them. Shaken, you turn to your phone in the hopes of calling your mom and notice a message from her already waiting for you. That's your mom. She probably knows the news before the news networks even do. Before you can even read the message, however, James pops up beside you with the signs. James tells you that Channel 8 just pulled up. Realizing the urgency of the situation, you grab your signs and rush into the crowd, hoping to get them caught on camera. As you shove your way through the crowd, you remember how you were impacted by the words on the sign. How do we stop racism? Stop talking about it, James Signs reads. I'm going to stop calling you a white man, and I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man. Morgan Freeman first said it, and man did it hit you hard. It's the truth America needs, and if it can get on TV, then maybe it will change someone's mind. someone who might change the future for the better. You near the camera people and they start rolling. You raise your sign for them to view, and then it happens. A cry from behind you calls out for help. You drop the sign and run towards it. You don't know what is happening, you just know that you have to help. In front of you, the crowd seems to widen as a cop steps towards a helpless man. Though the man looks familiar, you don't have time to think as you rush to his aid. The crowd already beats you to it, though, as they shove the cop to the ground, keeping him from hitting the victim. That's when you see it. The guy who the crowd is protecting is the guy who ran away from the cafe. He begins to move towards the downed officer, and within his jacket, you spot a knife. Do you rush him, or do you alert the people near him? If you choose rush him, this is your story. Without a thought, you rush him, pushing your way through the crowd. You break through the surrounding line into the open circle between the disoriented cop and the man. Your shoulder connects with his shoulder, but you underestimate his size. Your hit knocks him into the crowd, but it also causes you to twist and stumble towards the ground. If you chose to alert the people near him, this is your story. Without a thought, you push your way to the inner circle, crying out warnings of the impending danger. Right as you reach the edge, however, you trip over a foot and dive straight through the line surrounding the officer and the man, and hit the guy straight on the shoulder, launching him into the crowd, and you backwards towards the ground. Now this is the final common area between the two story choices. Your body slowly turns towards the ground, and as you fall, you glimpse the blood-splattered face and body of the injured cop on the ground. His face is twisted in agony, yet seems familiar. His eyes move rapidly, trying to gain a sense of his surroundings. As time moves slower and slower, your eyes lock. Yet he seems disoriented. His hands go to his side and he pulls out something. A loud sound breaks the silence. Something hits you. The world goes dark. Your body hits the ground and the phone from you slides out of your pocket. The message from your mom still sitting unread. Son, don't forget to drop by McNabb's house on your way home from the rallies. We're going to have his favorite dish tonight for game night. Meatloaf. Stay safe. Love, Mom. And with that, that's the end of the story. So we wanted to do this in our way of showing love to both sides and what has all happened in this country of this fight for rights, and just having the blame cast on both sides, and just terrible ways for both sides. And we wanted to show that just a simple misunderstanding of one fact can change the way we look at someone. So remember that as you go out into this world, and we hope this story helped in a way. It may not be changing the world, but at least we can bring some light to it. We hope you chose well, and we'll see you guys in the next season of Goofs and Gimmicks. And for episode 10, go check out the bloopers. We released them a while back, but go check out the bloopers for episode 10. They're hilarious. Alright, we'll see you guys next season, and thank you for joining us.